Alright, BMFox here, welcome to the Pan-Asian Doctrine build order. And before I start, I really want to point out that this is not a beginner's doctrine. You need to have at least a bit of experience, because Pan-Asian Doctrine gets additional terrain bonuses, and so you need to be familiar with the different terrains and how you can exploit your bonuses to play efficiently. And the Pan-Asian Doctrine also has a higher speed, so you need to be active. If you're not logging in a lot, you're not gonna be able to exploit the biggest strength of Pan-Asian Doctrine. Pan-Asian Doctrine is for players that are already a bit experienced and who like fast and aggressive gameplay. If that's your playstyle, then Pan-Asian Doctrine really will be your beef. Alright, let's start with the Doctrine bonuses. Pan-Asian Doctrine is all about surprise. They get 20% extra speed. I mean, that is fast. Compared to Allies Doctrine, who has 10% speed decrease, that's a speed difference of 30%. So Pan-Asian versus Allies is pretty good. You got an additional view range of 30%. You can scout very efficiently. You have less chance that you're gonna get trapped into ambushes. This is pretty good. And then finally you get 20% additional terrain bonuses. But very important to mark out, only additional terrain bonus. So if you have tanks, for example, in the hills, tanks don't get bonuses in the hills, so you won't get the Pan-Asian Doctrine bonus neither. However, if you're in the plains with your light tanks and you get a 50% bonus, well, for Pan-Asian it is 70. Pretty good. However, be careful, because you have 10% less hit points. So be careful being locked in melee combat with especially Axis, because they have 15% extra hit points. That's a difference of 25% with Pan-Asian, and they deal 15% more damage. You can't afford to receive 15% more damage if you have 10% less hit points. Axis vs Pan-Asian can be pretty difficult. Be aware of this. Commentary Doctrine not really is a problem, because they deal 10% less damage and you have 10% less hit points, so that balances out. The only danger Pan-Asian versus Commentary is if it's the Commentary player knows his game and he goes straight for rocket artillery, then as a Pan-Asian player you might get in trouble. Let's have a look at the unit bonuses. In the infantry branch, militia don't get an additional bonus, but they get their research sooner available. Pan-Asian infantry, however, are pretty good, because they get their 10% additional hit points, so the Pan-Asian minus 10% hit point nerf is cancelled. They get an additional bonus of 30% in the forest, plus their additional 20% of the Doctrine. That gives Pan-Asian infantry 70% bonus in the forest and also 70% in cities. That is pretty good, man. Not only that, but in the mountains they have 40%. No bonuses for motorized or mech infantry, not for commandos, not for paratroopers, which is a pity. A bonus for paratroopers would have been fun, especially for island hopping, would be faster than disembarking each time. In the ordnance branch, the artillery of Pan-Asian is really good. Not only do you get 20% additional terrain bonuses for your artillery in hills, mountains, but you also deal 15% additional damage versus unarmored units, which is perfect to use them against unarmored units the first couple of days of the game before you can produce rocket artillery. Unfortunately, no bonuses for anti-tank, not for anti-air, not for SP artillery. You even get a nerf on availability for SP anti-air. So overall, the ordnance branch for Pan-Asian is pretty weak. Only the artillery is pretty good, but I wouldn't advise to produce a lot of artillery, because if you're gonna battle against rocket artillery of Comintern, you're gonna lose bad. Tank branch, probably the biggest strength of Pan-Asian Doctrine. The armored cars, they deal 20% additional damage versus unarmored units. I mean, armored cars are already good, but you get a 20% extra damage versus all unarmored units. That makes Pan-Asian armored cars pretty dangerous. Also, research available sooner. The light tanks are absolutely devastating. They deal 15% extra damage versus both unarmored and light armored targets. That's basically all the land units in Call of War. You only have 4 heavy armored units, which are railroad guns, tank destroyers, medium tanks, heavy tanks. All the rest is just getting shredded by Pan-Asian light light tanks. They're absolutely deadly. No bonuses for the heavy armor, but I would advise with Pan-Asian, however, to make tank destroyers, especially to protect yourself against Axis and Cometern players with heavy armor. And definitely now that there's also flame tanks and amphibious tanks in the game, tank destroyers would be advised. In the air tab, the Pan-Asian Interceptor is absolutely the best. They have an additional range of 15%, they deal 15% more damage versus planes, and their upgrades are available sooner. They're absolutely deadly. The only interceptor that can match this is the Axis Interceptor, as they deal 15% more damage and have 25% more health. However, they don't have the advantage of the bigger range and the research that is available sooner. Unfortunately, no bonus for the attack bomber, which is like the flying alternative of a tank destroyer. However, naval bombers really deadly. I mean, the Americans in Pearl Harbor have experienced that firsthand. They deal 15% additional damage versus all ships and submarines. Also, upgrades available sooner in the naval tab. No bonuses for destroyers, submarines or cruisers, but the battleships are absolutely lethal. They deal 10% additional damage versus all units. Doesn't matter what. Parked planes, land units, naval units, you kill it all. Combine that with a 10% additional hit points that negate their Doctrine nerf, plus their speed. Battleships for Pan-Asian is absolutely lethal. But they're extremely expensive, they cost a lot of steel. Also, the aircraft carriers, very good. You can produce them 20% faster. Instead of 2 planes, you can carry 3 planes per level, and the upgrades are available sooner. In the secret tab, unfortunately, no bonuses except flying bomb, but flying bomb, waste of resources, it is weak, it can be shot down by interceptors, don't produce it. That would be my advice. Nuclear research is 2 days later available, and that is very important to know. I mean, allies have it 2 days sooner, so Pan-Asian is a fast doctrine. If you're an active and aggressive player and you choose your allies well, preferably also Pan-Asian, then you can finish the map before nukes become available. With Pan-Asian, you can finish the map in like 14-15 days. I mean, choose your allies wisely, end the game before nuclear is available. Allies Doctrine has it at day 18. All their research and production count another 2 days. In extremis, at the start of day 20, you really need to end the game. So normally with the standard Pan-Asian Doctrine build, I would go for light tanks and armored cars together with a couple of artillery to attack AI in the early game. And of course also tank destroyers, because heavy armor is the Achilles heel of Pan-Asian, especially now with the flame tank and the new amphibious tanks that have been introduced. You need tank destroyers early on to protect yourself against aggression like that. Then for air in a standard Pan-Asian build, I would go for interceptors, of course, and then tactical bombers on the premises that you have tank destroyers, otherwise you have nothing against heavy armor, in which case you should go for attack bombers. If you're coastal, you can use naval bombers, naval tab, subs. However, I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. This build is an island state, so I'm gonna go for a navy, destroyers and battleships. I'm not gonna go for cruisers because I'm gonna be able to protect my battleships against naval bombers with interceptors. As I go for battleships, I'm not gonna use artillery as well. Battleships are basically the artillery of the seas. For air, I'm gonna go for naval bombers as fast as possible and interceptors. And I'm also gonna produce armored cars for early expansion. Whatever of these builds you use, you're gonna have to play aggressively. You want to exploit the speed and the terrain bonuses early game to expand as fast as possible. You want to attack inactive players. You want to attack players with low stats. You want to expand very rapidly to establish a strong economy and to get a head start on any other player. Speed is the biggest advantage of Pan-Asian Doctrine. They become weaker further in the game because they only get early game unit bonuses, and so you want to establish a very big economy rather fast so that you can spam a giant army. Whether you are landlocked or coastal, at day 2 you should research rocket artillery. With the extra speed and the extra terrain bonuses, rocket artillery in the hands of a Pan-Asian player is extremely dangerous. If you haven't done it already, At day 2 you should also start producing interceptors, because there are quite some allies doctrine nations also in Asia, like North India, South India, Western Australia, Queensland, New Zealand, just to name a couple of those. And they might as well go for tactical bombers. Another important thing at day 4 is to upgrade your infantry. You can have level 4 infantry at day 4, and if you don't have the manpower to upgrade them at day 4, then you can opt to upgrade them at day 6 with level 5. As infantry get 10% extra hit points and 30% extra bonus in the forest, you should really upgrade those infantry units. From now on, you have chosen your main strategy and you should stick with it. You should try to have about 8 different unit types so that you can easily upgrade your units. Light tanks are absolutely one of the best units of Pan-Asian Doctrine, and you can upgrade them to level 3 at day 4. Same counts for the armored cars, also those you should upgrade as fast as possible. However, give priority to the light tanks, as the light tanks really are the Pan-Asian racehorse. In the air tab, you can either choose to upgrade your interceptors and naval bombers to level 3 at day 3, or you wait until day 6 to upgrade them to level 4. That will be your decision depending on how many interceptors or naval bombers you've been already able to spam, and if you have the available manpower to upgrade them. At day 6 you have the choice to add a last unit to your build order, which would be the SP Rocket Artillery. They are very fast, 66 speed, and they deal 6 damage versus unarmored units. You can stack them together with your existing armored cars and light tanks, and if you have premium account, then you can just put them on offensive fire settings. There is no build order for the late game for the Pan-Asian Doctrine. They really are a fast and early game doctrine, and if you play well together with other Pan-Asian Doctrine nations, then you can end the game at day 10 or 12 or 14. But you should definitely be able with the Pan-Asian Doctrine to finish the game before nuclear warfare starts. Just continue to produce the units that have been named before and continue to upgrading your units as much as you can. Good luck on the battlefield, General. In research, as soon as the game has started, I've researched destroyers, that takes only 30 minutes, and in the air tab I've researched naval bombers, that takes only 20 minutes, followed up by interceptors and armored cars. That means that I have all my early game units researched except for naval, where I still need battleships. That takes 11 hours, so I'm gonna start that as soon as armored car research has finished. I've built 2 naval bases, 2 aircraft factories, and 1 tank plant. Got already the first naval bomber and destroyer in production.
The next morning.
We are 18 hours into the game. My first 2 battleships have just rolled out of production. Battleships are slow, man, but Pan-Asian battleships do the trick. Battleships are pretty expensive, man, in the early game. 1430 steel. That is a lot. Got my 3rd battleship that is now producing. Let's queue up a battleship over here as well. There we go. And I'm also going to need recruitment offices. That's always good. Don't have the goods neither. No goods, no steel. Gonna queue it up. Tibet is going for an artillery armored car rush. She has already 8 artillery and 6 armored cars. However, to pull it off, I've sent them 3000 goods, because artillery is very expensive. And he also has already built industry, also recruitment offices level 2. He has already 2 of them. Got a 3rd level 2 in construction as well. I mean, he's doing very well. Trajan, also known as Standax, who was playing Tibet, did his homework and believes that Tibet has one of the best starting locations for the Pan-Asian artillery opening. Close AI capitals, great terrain for artillery, no coastline, and slow allies doctrine neighbors. So if you want to try the armored cars and artillery rush, then you should definitely go for Tibet. Then we've got McClick, who's going for armored cars. Also made 5 interceptors, that's a wise move. But his strategy is less aggressive than the one of Tibet. Sichuan is going for the light tank rush. Sichuan is using the build that I wanted to use, making only a couple of artillery. He has 4 of them, perfect to attack inactive players and then AI later in the game. And he's going for a light tank and armored car rush. That's exactly the strategy I wanted to use, but I've ended up with an island. And Pan-Asian infantry are very good with the additional doctrine bonus and 17% extra bonus in the city. He's quite trashing that light tank. He's dealing 24.4 damage. That's pretty crazy, man. In attack, if you would defend against unarmored units, 37.3 hit points. Pan-Asian infantry is really good. Let's now check out what strategy Jinyan is using. He's made 1 armored car, 6 light tanks, and 4 interceptors. So builds are similar, right? Light tanks, armored cars, interceptors. I mean, those are the best Pan-Asian units. So if you want to have a solid start, that's definitely the strategy you need to use. Alright, we are 6 hours and 14 minutes into day 2. I've got quite some army now, I'm not unhappy. My starting units, of course, produce 2 armored cars, so I've got 4 in total. 4 interceptors, got 1 in production, so soon that's gonna be 5. 5 battleships, 3 destroyers, 4 naval bombers, got 1 in production, soon gonna be 5 as well. And I have mobilized the only 2 amphibious tanks, level 1 that I have. I'm like, I never use my cards, I might as well use them for island hopping, right? My advice about these amphibious tanks would be only use them in your Pan-Asian in the Pacific so that you can go island hopping, because there's so many islands over here to be had. Use 1 or 2 battleships with 1 destroyer and you can take island after island, man. So many capitals to be taken. Tibet is still expanding very fast, taking inactive nations. He's already in South India, taking all the empty provinces that he can. Do quite some damage, but heck, each capital that you take from a player that never been online, that's a lot of money. If he burns his starting units, that's fine, I guess. If you can take 4 player capitals, that's a bunch of money, man. And taking over those countries that fast is really a huge economical boost. I've selected his entire army, he has now 14 artillery, that's crazy. His starting units are heavily damaged though, his anti-air and infantry. Then he also has 6 armored cars, so he made 4 of those, and 2 light tanks. Has been able to develop his economy nicely. So 2 level 2 industry, 3 level 3 recruitment offices. That's good, man. In total he has 41 units. That's pretty impressive. Our Dalai Lama is not very peaceful. Xingyan has 10 light tanks, barely damaged, produced 1 armored car, probably while waiting for his light tank research to finish. 5 interceptors, so he produced 4. Solid strategy, he's gonna expand very rapidly with that. McClick, 10 armored cars, 3 light tanks, 9 interceptors already. Impressive stuff. Also pretty impressive gameplay from Sichuan. He has 4 armored cars, 10 light tanks, 6 infantry. That's the build I wanted to make, man. Ended up at an island, but next thing he should do is produce interceptors and maybe some tank destroyers and naval bombers, because now he has a coastline. You've got Japan, the Philippines that he might have to worry about. I've positioned my land units strategically, so I have a visual almost everywhere on the coastline. Don't have a visual here, however, that's not good. I'm gonna put 1 infantry unit over here on that coast. I don't want to have blind spots. Now I can see everything that happens when convoy units come. I'm gonna see it. I can send in my naval bombers. I've been able to take quite some oil and metal, also rare materials from Sumatra, and I also took a supply drop, so I've got quite some resources, and this permitted me to build industry. Got a level 1 industry building in my goods, which I really lack. I only produce 297 an hour. Level 3 industry in my oil, level 2 industry in my metal, and then also in the metal over here in the rural province I'm building also local industry level 2, and over here I'm doing the same in Polyang, level 1 rural industry as well. I need to get my economy up and running. Got quite some units I have now, still my starting units of course. 4 armored cars, now 7 interceptors already, 7 naval bombers, 7 battleships, 3 destroyers, 2 amphibious tanks. Got a total of 48 units. In research, I'm researching level 3 infantry already, because as with Pan-Asian your infantry upgrades are soon available. You have level 4 infantry already at day 4. That's pretty good, man, because those units are overpowered. Look at that. 54 speed, 10.5 damage versus unarmored units in defense. Those are pretty good stats. Even versus light armor, 6 in defense. That's the same damage as a level 1 amphibious tank versus unarmored units. 4.5 even against heavy armor. That's pretty good, man. Also the anti-air value is pretty high, 4.5. Tomorrow I'm gonna launch the level 4 upgrade. Takes 10 hours and I'm gonna use the upgrade trick to upgrade them. I'm gonna have level 4 infantry very fast. Let me show you more army. 15 infantry, 3 anti-air, 5 armored cars, 10 interceptors, 10 naval bombers, 10 battleships, 7 destroyers, and 2 amphibious tanks. In research, I've just finished researching a naval bomber level 2. Level 3 takes 10 hours, but I think I might be asleep in 10 hours time, so I'm not gonna launch that. Interceptor is not finished researching yet. In the infantry tab, want to research level 4, but also that takes only 10 hours. Don't think I'll be awake before the research ends to upgrade my units. Not using ordnance. Tank plants, I can't upgrade armored car level 2 because I don't have 10 of them yet. In the air tab, I'm all good. Naval, I can do destroyers, I guess, or battleships, because battleships already have 10 of those. Battleship, oh, that cost a lot of steel. 18 hours. That would have been perfect to launch. Don't have the steel though. I'm also constructing a lot. Building level 3 industry in my goods. Level 3 recruitment stations, 2 recruitment offices level 1. Also industry in my steel city. And I see already produce a lot of steel, more than goods. I should maybe cancel that construction. Then I'm gonna have resources to research those battleships. Navy level 2 battleships start. Good. And now in my steel city, I need to put in the queue construction, the repair of level 3. Add to queue. There we go. That's perfect. So handy to have high command man. Premium account that is called now. So you can see I'm doing pretty solid in terms of goods, oil and steel. I produce already a lot of rare materials, so I haven't built industry there yet. So construction is all set, research is set. Tomorrow I'm gonna start launching upgrades to level 3. I'm producing 2 destroyers. I need to queue up 1 more so that I will have 10 of those. Queue up, there we go. Got a lot of resources. I am going to upgrade my infantry very soon. In less than 2 hours, this research will be finished. In the naval tab, got my destroyers research now also upgrading to level 2. As soon as the infantry is done, I'm gonna start researching subs. I need to construct a sub wall over here in this area to protect myself against notably amphibious tanks. I don't want to get them getting through because they're very hard to stop. As soon as that is done, I want to upgrade interceptors, naval bombers also to level 3 over here. Need to research that fast because they're my main unit. And then lastly, I also want armored cars level 3. I'm producing them. I almost have 10 now. Got 7, 1 more in production, 2 queued up. As soon as I have 10 armored cars, gonna be able to produce light tanks and then tank destroyers. And then I should have a nice army to start invading our friends over here. Also in economy, I'm doing pretty great now. Got a lot of recruitment offices, level 3 industry in my goods and in my steel. And now that that is done, I should already build 2 recruitment offices level 3 as well. Nice. Also for rural, I'm well covered, got level 3 industry building in my goods and in my steel. I guess I'm doing pretty fine. I have a rather small army for my taste, 67 units, but it's not bad neither for day 5, I guess.
Many hours later.
In less than 5 minutes, my naval bomber research level 3 will be finished. So I've started upgrading all my naval bombers, and in only 2 hours I have my interceptor upgrade that is going to finish, and I'm not gonna have the manpower to upgrade all my interceptors with the upgrade trick, unfortunately. I'm undecided whether I'm gonna skip the level 3 because that would be a possibility, as in 6 hours is gonna be day 6. Level 4 will be available, takes 19 hours. However, I wanted to focus on my navy because at day 6 destroyer level 3 becomes researchable, and I really need to do that because for now I am prone to subs as I cannot see subs level 2. I need my destroyer level 3 as fast as possible, and battleship level 3, that would be advised as well. So I might actually pay the full upgrade level 3 to bring my units to level 3 without an upgrade trick, because I'm not gonna have a research slot available to upgrade to level 4. I have no immediate danger of air attacks, so I don't know, I will see. Then again, it would suck if I decide not to upgrade my interceptors to level 3 because I'm not prone to air attack and then getting attacked by Western Australia Australia with strategical bombers, for example. That would really not be cool. It is always prioritizing in Call of War. You have a limited amount of resources, you have a limited amount of time and research slots, and you cannot do everything, which is why I specialize my build in only a couple of units so that I can easily upgrade them, right? I've got infantry, armored car, interceptors, battleships, destroyers, subs, and naval bombers. That is 7 unit types. As I haven't produced any infantry and I'm probably not gonna upgrade them beyond level 4, I'm not gonna count it. So right now I have 6 unit types. In a build you can go up to 8, you can even go up to 10, but it's gonna get very difficult to upgrade your units. So 8 is good, meaning I have 2 more unit types that I can produce, which will be for melee tanks and tank destroyers. My armored cars, they are going to counter unarmored units. My light tanks, they will be able to counter light armored units, and my tank destroyers are gonna be able to counter heavy armored units. I'm gonna have interceptors to stop air. I'm gonna have my navy to stop any invasion or other navy, and I'm gonna be good, you know? I'm not ready to attack players yet, as I have a little land army. I need light tanks first, and I need tank destroyers before I attack other players. And my armored cars are only level 1, I need to be level 3. Also, before I attack players and take both my interceptors and navy and land units out of my core provinces, I need to have a sub wall complete. Otherwise, I really risk getting hit bad in my course. If I put a couple of subs in between Taiwan and the north of the Philippines, then I've got all this area covered. Then I can put subs here, 3 subs over here. That is going to lock down all of this. 2 subs over here, so that's 5 subs over here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. With 11 subs, I can make this all empty. Put them on aggressive fire settings. As soon as someone comes through, I'm gonna see it. My subs are automatically gonna engage with any nation that tries to pass, and then I can put my naval bombers to work to avoid getting attacked. When you play an island nation, you need to make sure that you can kill the units at sea. That's very important. I've built air bases over here as well. I can fly anywhere over here. Research is done, so now let's research level 2 armored cars. Let's go, start. Then I can also upgrade my last naval bomber. Go, perfect. This naval bomber has been upgraded now. Look at the range of this thing. That's nice, man.
12 hours later.
Tibet is still going full bunkers. He has 15 light tanks level 3, 2 armored cars, 37 infantry. That is pretty crazy. If once those are gonna be upgraded with the upgrade trick, my god, that is going to be dangerous. 10 rocket artillery, solid choice. 4 heavily damaged light tanks that he's probably not going to upgrade. 15 artillery, 15 level 1 interceptors, 5 interceptors level 3. So I guess he's gonna prioritize upgrading his interceptors to level 3 as fast as possible. 1 tactical bomber, 1 cruiser, 2 heavily damaged anti-air. So you can also see he specializes in mainly light tanks, infantry, rocket artillery, interceptors, and he's now gonna go for tactical bombers, maybe a couple of cruisers as well, to bombard coastal cities. That is 8 different units types. That is a pretty solid build. I mean, he can use his artillery to counter heavy armored units, but he's gonna have to shoot and scoot a long time to grind down a stack of medium tanks. But very solid Pan-Asian build order, 8 units, and basically with those 8 units he can counter anything that comes at him. McClick has 21 armored cars, 22 light tanks, 20 level 3 interceptors, his starting units anti-air, and 15 infantry, and 4 rocket artillery. So I guess he's now going to produce more rocket artillery until he has 10, and he's going to upgrade his armored cars and light tanks. Next up, he should go either for tank destroyers or attack bombers, because he has no units to counter heavy armor, which could become problematic later in the game. Xinjiang has 10 attack bombers, 3 anti-air, 7 rocket artillery, 10 interceptors, 5 armored cars, his 15 starting infantry, and 20 level 3 light tanks. I mean, the light tank is probably the best unit of Pan-Asian Doctrine. You can see all my allies are using them. They're going going for interceptors. They're not going for anti-air, as anti-air is slowing units down. Even rocket artillery is faster than anti-air. Also, this is a very solid build. He has 10 attack bombers to counter heavy armor targets. His light tanks will counter all light armored units, and his infantry paired with rocket artillery are gonna take out all unarmored units. So also this very solid Pan-Asian build. Let's see what Sichuan has. Sichuan is not going for air. He has no interceptors, but I think he's gonna rely on his allies to give him air support whenever it is needed. He has 5 naval bombers, 3 heavily damaged medium tanks that he used cards for, 11 artillery, 7 rocket artillery, his 15 starting infantry, 4 armored cars, 20 light tanks, 2 militia. Pan-Asian militia are pretty good, as you get an additional 20% bonus, and militia, well, they already get a lot of terrain bonuses. So if you look at their stats, they have 45% bonus in the hills, they have 70% in the forest. I mean, that is pretty good, man, especially as they are stealths. Pretty solid unit for Pan-Asian Doctrine. So you can see that all my allies went for similar builds. Armored cars, light tanks, interceptors would be the main units on land, combined with a type of ranged unit, either artillery or rocket artillery, combined with air force, either tactical bombers or attack bombers. If we are coastal, then of course naval bombers need to be used, and if you're an island state as I am, well, then subs can be very helpful if you want a cheap defense, so just subs and naval bombers. However, if we want to go naval on the offensive, then the battleships would be a very good choice, together with destroyers. You don't even need to use cruisers, as they just add another unit in the research line, but you need to be sure that you cannot get hit by naval bombers, so you can't cross the ocean, or you should have to make aircraft carriers so that you can take interceptors with you. But if you stay close to the coastline into interceptor range, then you are fine. Also economically, I am doing well, but I had to cancel 2 recruitment stations at level 3 last night, so that I could make goods available to be able to launch the interceptor and naval bomber upgrades. Unfortunately, I hope to have goods available soon to get more manpower, because I have the resources to produce a couple more units, but I don't have the manpower. So I managed to upgrade both my naval bombers and interceptors to level 3, both stacks. So I'm now the proud owner of 10 interceptors level 3 and 10 naval bombers level 3, and look at the range of those things. That's pretty awesome, man. Wow. Got 4 subs located over here, 2 in Papua New Guinea to put the start of a sub wall. Got 2 more subs in production. I'm upgrading 3 recruitment offices to level 3. I'm gonna build a level 2 as well. Didn't have the goods before. There we go. Perfect. This map is gonna be over fast. I'm only gonna invest in the recruitment offices in cities. Now that my planes are upgraded, I have in research now level 3 battleships and level 3 destroyers. So I'm stopping producing units so that I'm gonna be able to upgrade my destroyers and battleships. Next in the research then will be level 3 armored cars. And with that done, all my units will be level 3. Then I can finally start producing light tanks. By taking Papua New Guinea, I'm gonna enhance my economy, take points for the team, and it's gonna buy me time to produce light tanks. Should produce tank destroyers as well. We're gonna see if I'm gonna be able.
1 hour later.
My dear friend and YouTuber Mr. Monarch is experiencing why I'm advocating for tank destroyers in the Pan-Asian Doctrine. He's getting attacked by Ukraine, who has 1 armored car, 5 level 3 infantry, 8 medium tanks, and 1 motorized infantry. His meat shield was gone just in an instant as he got caught in the plains. He was able to lure that stack deeper in his territory to be able to attack it with attack bombers. However, attack bombers don't deal enough damage versus heavy armor, only 4.8 for level 1, so that's 84 damage for 10 attack bombers, but 1 medium tank has 40 HP and he has 8 of them, so 320 HP for medium tanks. He deals 48 damage, 50% on patrol, so that's only 28, so he needs 14 patrol ticks to take out this stack. That is 3 hours and a half on patrol. You can forget it to take a stack like this out with attack bombers. He would have fared much better if he would have been able to get into the forest with tank destroyers. bombers. It is what it is. This hurts to watch, man. 3 light tanks, they really pack a punch, man. 11.5 versus light armor, 7.5 against unarmored units. That is a lot of damage. They have 410 hit points. That's pretty crazy. Alright, we are 6 hours into day 7. I've been quite busy upgrading units. I've got now both my destroyers that are level 3, my battleships level 3, and my 5 armored cars that are level 3. The last 5 armored cars are upgrading right now. They should be done soon. 45 minutes and 8 minutes. Now that the research of armored cars level 3 is done, I'm gonna go to the naval tab and I'm gonna start... I miss... resources. 750 steel. Let's buy that. There we go. Alright, level 2 transport ship. It gives your convoys more speed and more HP, so that's interesting. Then next, I should also start producing light tanks. So then I'm gonna do now. I've got 3 anti-air, 15 level 2 infantry, 10 level 3 armored cars, got 10 light tanks that can be upgraded, but I'm waiting for my level 3 research to finish. Got still 10 level 3 interceptors, 10 level 3 naval bombers, 10 level 3 battleships, 10 level 3 destroyers, 16 level 1 submarines with upgrade also in research, and 2 amphibious tanks. I'm building a nice wall of subs over here. Everything is closed up on this side. Now I'm also closing up over here in between Papua New Guinea and the Philippines. I've got 2 more subs in production and the ready march is set for here and over here. So then everything is gonna be closed all the way up to the north of the Philippines. Then only 3 more subs are needed to put on these 3 points. So pretty soon we're gonna be rock solid. So I'm assembling my army now that I have a safe area around my core provinces, or I will do very soon. I'm going to take my units to Australia. I'm assembling a stack over here of 10 armored cars, 10 light tanks, and 10 level 4 infantry. In research, I'm researching level 3 light tank and level 2 submarine. Infantry tab, I haven't researched a higher level of infantry because I don't think I'm gonna have the manpower to upgrade them. Ordnance, nothing. Tanks, level 3 is in research. I'm now producing tank destroyers, and as soon as I have 10, I'm gonna be able also to research the level 2 upgrade. In the air tab, as soon as I have available slots, I should research level 4 naval bombers and interceptors, but I think I will produce 10 more of each before I maybe do the upgrades. I don't know, undecided. Also naval tab, I'm still maxed out. I also have over here now a level 3 transport ship that is completed. Only thing that I need to upgrade in the naval tab now is submarine level 3. In construction, I've started upgrading my military buildings. My 2 naval bases are level 2. My 2 aircraft factories are level 2 as well. I haven't upgraded any more industry because I don't think it's interesting. The game will end soon. Level 4 and level 5 industry costs a lot of resources, so I'm not gonna do it. Got my first tank destroyer in production, and I've built a second tank plant in Brunei, where I also have put tank destroyer in production, upgraded it to level 2. I don't know if I should upgrade to level 3 here. Costs a lot of oil. I'm not gonna do it. So I got everything covered. Construction, research, production, and offensive. Sichuan has 5 armored cars, level 1, 35 level 3 light tanks, man, 3 anti-air, 19 artillery, 8 rocket artillery, 7 SP rocket artillery. Best unit for Doctrine. You pair those together with light tanks, armored cars, bam, you can stop almost anything. 15 infantry, 6 subs, 9 level 3 naval bombers, 3 medium tanks, 1 militia. McClick has 4 armored cars, 20 militia, 2 anti-air, 15 infantry, 4 rocket artillery, 32 level 3 light tanks, 20 level 3 interceptors, 16 level 3 armored cars, 6 cruisers, 2 destroyers. That is pretty solid as well. It proved to be quite a challenge to select all the units from Tibet because he's all over the place, but I think I managed. He has 2 anti-air, 3 light tanks, 10 armored cars, 38 level 3 light tanks, 20 level 2 tactical bombers, 1 destroyer, 18 13 level 5 infantry, 5 level 1 infantry, 11 rocket artillery, 9 naval bombers level 2 and 1 level 3, 6 artillery, an infantry level 4, 18 interceptors level 3, a tactical bomber level 1, 1 light tank, 1 armored car, and that's it. Oh my god, he has lost a lot of artillery, man. There's only 9 left because he's attacking very aggressively. Alright, I just got home from work. We are 6 hours into day 9. I have been able to upgrade my light tanks. Got already quite a couple of tank destroyers, as you can see. Got 8 of them. I want to produce more of them, but I'm saving my manpower, as in 2 hours 30 the submarine research level 3 will finish. I need 9,000 manpower to upgrade those, but I'm gonna be able to at least upgrade 14 of them, 2/3, so that's not bad. The rest I'm gonna upgrade tomorrow morning, and then all my units will be level 3. That's pretty badass, man. 3 anti-air, 15 level 4 infantry, 10 interceptors, 10 naval bombers, 10 battleships, 10 destroyers, 10 armored cars, 21 subs, 8 tank destroyers, 2 amphibious tanks, and 10 light tanks. I've been upgrading all my military buildings, got my naval bases at level 2, aircraft factory at level 3, tank plant level 3 and 1 level 2, but it might all be in vain because the game is going to end, so I'm never gonna use them to produce more units. The game has ended, and that only after 10 days. If this doesn't show the superiority of the Pan-Asian Doctrine, I don't know what else can. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and hit that bell button for notifications. I want to say a warm thank you to my members and elite members for supporting this channel.